there are many human beings that are ready to move forward. And you know, everyone knows this by now. I mean, it's out on the internet. So
right, and a lot of people that are evolving, you know, clearly, like for the younger people, my nieces and nephews, for example, they are very aware of what's going on. They're very aware of how the huge shift in consciousness in the whole planet.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's really interesting because I'm learning about the work of Mary Rodwell, who we'll give a link to in the information as well. And her work is very interesting because it is connected to Dr. Alfred Lambremont Weber's work, in that she's interviewed and had clients. She's also a regression hypnotherapist.
Okay.
She's
sorry to interrupt you. What is a regression hypnotherapist?
Okay. Well, hypnotherapy is all about going into these subjects as well, and which is why I'm drawn to it, because it's about recovering and healing the fragments of the human mind, and also it goes into interdimensional realities. And Mary Rodwell's work is really interesting because she interviewed a lot of children who have had some really interesting experiences with extraterrestrial,
all right,
on an interdimensional level, like through dreams and other unique experiences. And she believes that because we're moving forward in human consciousness, we are being communicated with on other levels now through our children, because they're our future, and they're rebuilding where we need to shift to. And
I do believe, this is personally, I do believe that the people that are being born, the children, are actually much more involved than we were. I mean,
so
you know,
more involved, aren't they? And they seem to be so wise.
Yeah, and understanding what's going on. So you think that's part of the whole shifting in consciousness?
Absolutely. You know, it's just a natural evolutionary process, and also I think it's just something that really needs to happen because we're at a crossroads in our humankind and planetary survival. So, you know, it's no wonder that the children are much more evolved than us, and you know, some have some really interesting abilities too.
Yes, that's what they say. Yeah, and they also say that their DNA is changing as it's more evolved, extra strands.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So, you know, this is all stuff that ties in with ecology, consciousness, and free energy. Because in order to embrace free energy, we also need to move forward. You know, from the being addicted to power and greed to a more equilibrium of living, a more sort of holographic form of society rather than a pyramidal hierarchical structure.
Well, that's pretty deep. Okay. Now you also are a hypnotherapist. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So how did that start? How did you?
Okay, again, you know, because I was inspired by the work of Mary Rodwell and other people, and I've just been interested in consciousness ever since I was a child. When I was 14, I had an operation to remove a tumour, and I had an out-of-body experience, and I was taken by a being to a place in the universe where there were these revolving spheres, and each one contained a part of my life that may or may not happen. And some of those instances that I was taken to did happen, and some of them didn't. It's kind of like, again, ties in with Nassim Haramein, you know, and quantum physics. You know, you can have all these parallels
on different levels.
Absolutely. And they may or may not happen. And
I understand that. Yeah. So
I've just always been very spiritual and had some strange abstract experiences, which is why I got into hypnotherapy. And I've always been interested in psychology as well. And just the fact that I feel that in order to shift to this new way of being, we need to heal ourselves.
Oh, right. So you need to heal the part of you that's been used to the five senses and that kind of stuff, and to evolve from there.
And to get in touch with our inner voice and our intuition, which is really connected to that divine energy, you know, in the universe. And in order to do that, you need to bypass the intellectual mind, and that's what hypnotherapy does. To do this kind of work, you can put a person into deep trance by relaxing them deeply, and that's what hypnotherapy does. It just deals with relaxing the person deeply and taking them to a level where they can do the work by passing the critical mind.
Wow. And so now does anybody can anybody be hypnotized, or is that what you call it hypnotized, right? I mean, is that
hypnosis? Most people can be hypnotized. I mean, it's also used by doctors to control pain and deal with all kinds of issues like anxiety, allergies, and pain control. But I don't recommend anybody with schizophrenia or severe bipolar to be.
Like if you're Sybil, you shouldn't do it.
If you're what?
If you're Sybil, well, you're not British. Yeah, that's an American thing. Sybil was a woman with multiple personalities.
Multiple person, not good.
Okay.
But most of the results we get are always really positive, and anybody can do hypnotherapy for anxiety, depression, trauma. It's great for trauma or abuse recovery.
So basically, it cleanses you. Is that correct? That's just a form of cleansing, so you can move on.
It's a form of neuro-linguistic programming. I trained with Janice Erickson, who's also
of course,
Livingston, and Richard Bandler, the NLP.
Oh, Richard Bandler is the big guy for NLP.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Of course.
So we integrate neuro-linguistic programming in hypnosis. So during hypnosis, we use that language, and we can, for example, usually in a consultation, I give a mini present life regression, where the person can go back and deal with any traumas or issues or emotional issues by replaying that memory.
Wow.
What happens is we ask them to disengage and rewind the memory, and I use certain techniques to apply that. And what it does is it rewrites the neural brain pathways and disassociates that emotion from the person, so they become clear.
Okay. And then once they become free of it, obviously that leaves their body, or that leaves their consciousness, and they can be free to open up to better things. Is that correct?
To embrace their full potential. So.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's incredible. So how long have you been doing that for?
Only 3 years.
3 years? And where did you start?
In San Francisco, I trained with Janice Erickson, again, who, as I said, she's a master therapist with Richard Bandler and.
Richard Bandler. Keep things, they're the big guys, of course, in San Francisco. Well, this has been wonderful. This has been an amazing 2 hours dealing. Carlita Shaw, who's been talking to us about Evolve to Ecology and also about the Shaman Apprentice Project, and also about your and free energy as well. So thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it. And stay tuned next week. We're going to have more interesting stuff. We are hopefully going to be talking a little bit about tourism, a little bit of different subject. So you were listening to Michel and Ashley and Carlita Shaw. This was Ecuador at Your Service on the Overseas Radio Network.